In order to appease God in an attempt to end my unceasing suffering, I decided that it's time to beat Elden Ring by only leveling Faith. The rules for this challenge are as simple as they get. I can level Faith, and I can't level my other stats. And if that didn't make sense to you, you need more help than I can provide. If you're here watching this video, subscribe. Most of my viewers aren't subscribed, and that is simply sinful. Alright, let's get going. As with all Elden Ring runs, this one begins with me gathering a plethora of items that I may or may not use. Things like a wife, a donkey, a piece of pot from a pot I murdered, a flask of physic, and of course, the finger seal and catch flame from Round Table Hold, so I can actually do some damage. With that done, I continue my gathering mission in search of Deathroot and fight my first boss, the Black Knife Assassin. Time to see if this catch flame spell is any good. That's a lot of damage. Indeed that is, past Ratty. I cook the assassin with my hand flame and acquire my first Deathroot. I want another one though, so in keeping with the faith-only theme, I grab Sacred Blade, put it on a longsword, and head to fight a Tibia Mariner. Sacred Blade does extra damage to undead. I don't know exactly the math, but it's roughly a lot. With my holy sword in hand, my crusade against the undead is swift, and I claim my second death stick. Before I turn in my Deathroot, I head in a southerly direction to the Weeping Peninsula for some sacred tears, as well as a holy harvesting instrument, and the faith tier to buff myself until I can max out my faith level. Now I get to head to my favorite area in Elden Ring, Detroit. And I finally give the Beastman his Deathroots. He rewards me with a seal and incant, so my arsenal of faith damage continues to grow. I also grab the Cinquilida dagger while I'm here, which will buff my beast spells if I have it equipped. With that long and winding journey now done, I make my way to the first important boss, Margit. I start off with the beast seal and quesadilla dagger to buff my pebble throw. I immediately take a ton of damage and have to use my only heal before the fight has even really begun. Excellent, I now have him right where I want him. The pebbles are hitting, like, well, pebbles, so I switch to catch flame. Yeah, it's as fast as my rocks while also doing over double the damage. Deciding what to use after seeing that really is a no-brainer. Now I just have to not get hit and spam this horny bastard with fire. There we go. Oh, hot start, baby, let's go. Is faith broken? It might be. Blast of faith! With Martin dead, I zoom into Stormveil, stopping to grab the Godslayer seal and the Black Flame spellbook, for later. For right now, I head back to the round table and get the Cypher Patah, or as I will refer to them from now on, the Holy Fisters. I upgrade them a bit, but there is a problem. I do not have enough faith to wield these. Luckily, I already have the faith tier, and that does the trick. Time for the Goon Lord himself, and damn, for being so quick, these little faith stickles do some damage. I am on a 3-minute timer here, so that's very fortunate. I do some disgusting things to get the phase transition. Oh, I stabbed him in the butthole. Oof, my bad, dude. My bad. And now the Gooning King pulls out his bad dragon to evolve into his final form, which is, quite frankly, almost easier than his first phase. This dude is so free, it's insane. I finish him off with the Holy Fisters. Finish him! Oh yeah, dude. And that's the first Remembrance boss down. I now begin my escapades in the Wondrous Lake. Why is it wondrous, you ask? Well, it's actually only about 2 inches deep, but incredibly wide. Reminds me of somebody I know, actually. Anyway, I wander the Big Wet, stealing a key from a dragon, murdering a dung beetle for a sniper spell, then killing another guy for his spear and his grape? That's weird. The killing spree continues as I murder a tree for some damage tiers. In my bloodlust, I also victimize an innocent knight for a book filled with lightning spells, which I then purchase from the Turtle Pope. God, what a wise and majestic being. But I'm not done yet. I've got a taste for killing now, so another ghost boat falls at my hand. With my hunger for death finally sated, I also collect a few more objects before I begin my next task. Namely, the Faith Talisman, Dectus Halves, Radagon's Ball, Golden Vow, and the Erdtree Seal, which will be my seal of choice throughout the run. I can't resist my urges though, and I somehow end up murdering a sleeping dragon to get more faith levels. Oops. With my rampage finally completed, I entered the domain of the Foot Queen and her neckbeard Reddit worshippers. On my way to be stepped on, I encounter a rather large and angry cat. Not expecting this, I kinda got worked. Hi, he's kinda cracked, but I will not end my journey on account of some pissy kitty. I can literally throw lightning like Zeus himself, and it does some giga damage. I mean, for real, it do a lot of damage. Now that I have a bit of a rhythm, I quickly shock the poor cat to death, absorbing all 9 of its lives in an instant. Time for my favorite part of Elden Ring, getting stepped on by my queen. I mean, fighting Rennala. First, I beat the children protecting her, which brings me immense joy. Then it's on to phase 2. And skill issue. Yes, my favorite. I didn't like how my damage was looking anyways, so I go back to Detroit. I get more Somber Stones and juice up my seal to +6. This may be overkill, but I've always firmly believed that more damage can solve any skill issue. So I beat the children again, then use the Holy Fisters to get her to phase 2. In phase 2, I crutch on Zeus's Bolt. The whole arena is water, which buffs lightning damage, so I have a hard time trying to justify using anything else. The strat for the fight is insanely simple as well. Run, and then throw Bolt. And as a stupid person, I do need simple strats to beat this game. Go again, I don't care. Go. Go.
You idiot. You're honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Oh, you're joking me. Oh, let's go! Wow, that was lucky. After all that fun, it is time for me to once again gather resources. I don't really know why. I just keep collecting things that might be useful. We'll see if any of it pays off later. This time, I go to fake Prometheus and get a big fireball. I also buy the black flame fireball from my mentor, Master Ugwe, which I will use shortly. Then we go and beat up Sweet Lady Gillica with Catch Flame, which is doing dummy thick damage, so I can get the Ritual Sword Talisman for a damage buff. I find another Ghost Boat Captain to decimate and get more Death Root for my boy Big Bear. I feed it to him and he enjoys it, which makes me happy. I've been meaning to grab one of the most OP spells in the game, so I guess it's time to do that. I need to do most of Millicent's questline for this, so to start, we take our donkey and square up with Easy Nile. I essentially ride around and lob my balls at him, which is a very easy way to do this fight. 10 out of 10, would recommend. With that done, I get a gold needle and use it to heal Millicent. She heads to Altus, and I go find a prosthetic arm for her. Once I give her the arm, I return to her father Gowry, and he sells me the Pest Thread Incant, aka the Cumbug spell. Cumbug spell! Cumbug! Alright, I have one more thing to grab, then we will start working our way through the game, I promise. I wander around underground until I find the Dragon Daddy of Noxtella. I hop into his knee and proceed to get super dizzy as I cheese the hell out of him. Once I kill him though, he gives me the Frozen Lightning Spear, so it's worth it. Back to the main game now. I have gathered a literal arsenal of weaponry, and I feel ready to take on the Horse Guard. And by take on, I mean stand behind and cast Poison Mist. Oh boy, this takes forever. I've never actually cheesed this guy with poison, so it made sense to do it now, but god, this is just taking way too long. It would have been super safe and easy, but unfortunately, I got called out. Smack his butt? No balls? God damn it. Alright. There we go. Wow, that was still pretty easy. I have to figure out how to resist that call out though. It works on me every time. I make my way into the capital and grab the Ritual Shield Talisman for a defense buff since I have a literal pube of health. Before heading in any further though, I decide I want a talisman to buff my incants. So I go back to the Windmill Village and blast the Apostle. Bang. Nice. This gets me the Scouring Black Flame spell, but more importantly, it gets Millicent to spawn. To get the talisman I want, I have to kill her. Sorry, Millicent. Then we have to kill her father, which I'm not really sorry about. That gets me Flock's Canvas Talisman for a buff to the damage of all my incants. Beautiful. For Godfrey the Piss Ghost, I decide to use my new Black Flame spell. And it kinda sucks. Don't get me wrong, the damage is great, but gods is it slow. So slow. With Ritual Shield, I'm surviving hits, but I can't trade out damage every time I cast a spell. So I pivot and try out the Frozen Lightning spell, and damn, it's a bit faster, and with the lingering hitbox it has, it's a little easier to use. I'm still getting smacked when I try to get it off though. I fall back to my trusty old bolt once I get him low. This spell is starting to carry the run, but that's okay. I got plans for later. So for now, I can zap bosses to death with my extra large toothpick. Bing! Oh damn, that was all it took? Yeah, Lightning Spear is busted, holy shit. The Faith stat isn't just about incants. I mean, it's mostly about incants, but There are also some cool faith weapons. Before finishing the capital, I decided to go clean up Radahn, and I have the perfect weapon. Vike's War Spear, baby! I upgrade it to a clean +6 and make my way to the desert of Detroit for an epic battle. Or not. He got my ass. Time to reassess. And by that, I mean time for more damage. I take my spear over to one of the tree simps and kick his ass for the flame tier to get more damage. Now for an epic battle part 2. Me and General Radish charge each other. My damage isn't broken, but it's definitely usable. One of the reasons I really like the spear is the charge attack, because it's pretty swift and lets me get in some staggers. Bang! Shank him in the head. Phase 2 is more of the same, but his moveset gets a little more fancy and purple. That doesn't stop me though. I use the business end of my spear and slap Big General Radonsky like he's Chris Rock. With that done, I want to use something a little less common. So I go to the Dragon Communion Church and buy the Dragon Bite, Dragon Slap, and Rot Breath just in case. Unfortunately, these spells need a lot of arcane, and I can't just level it up. So I head into the newly created Radahn hole and beat myself for the Silver Tier Mask, which gives +7 arcane. Now I can use my fancy dragon spells. I decide to tee off on my boy Mordred, and holy, that's a lot of damage. The Dragon Bite is pretty sick. It is slow, however, and it's hard to find windows to get it in without trading damage, which is just never a good strat. You know what time it is then? More damage. I get Flame Grant Me Strength, the Roar Medallion, Marfit Shackle, and the Dragon Communion Seal. All of these buff my damage except the Shackle, which will hold Morgo on the ground so I can do naughty things to him. I also go and grab the Dragonfire spell as a just-in-case option for this fight. So here's the setup. I got the Canvas, Roar, and Ritual Sword talismans to buff my damage, as well as the Dragon Communion Seal. My Physic has the Faith tier and Flame tier to buff my Dragon Breath. Before the fight, I drink, then cast Golden Vow, as well as Flame Grant Me Strength. Now I run in and hit him with the Shackle. Twice.
That's a lot of damage.
Holy moly. Now I just wait for an opportunity to bite him a third time. This is crazy. During the phase transition, I decide to try out the Fire Breath. Nice. Get him! Get him! Alright, Dragon incants are pretty fucked. Before moving on, I decide it's time to feed the good boy more Deathroot. He just keeps giving me stuff I'm not using, but maybe it'll be useful eventually. Unfortunately, for some reason, he gets ornery that I've been giving him treats. Eventually, I do beat him back into submission, and he gives me a spell now that we've established that I'm the top dog. There are still more rewards we need from the good doggo, so I go to collect 2 more Deathroot, then I'll finally be done. The first one is easy. I beat my final Ghost Boater in the mountaintops. The next one is annoying. I venture into the Giant's mountaintop catacomb, and this is, honest to God, the worst place in the game. I spent an hour here trying to find my way around and just repeatedly dying. The gimmick in this catacomb is a lot of the areas look the same, which makes it really disorienting to initially navigate. Eventually, I do find the boss, a lovely ulcerated tree spirit. But he one-shots me. He's weak to fire though, so I just need to juice my fire damage. In pursuit of that, I go and get the Fire Scorpion charm. It gives me more fire damage, but in return I take more damage, which doesn't matter because I'm getting one-shotted. With that in hand, I return to the boss and spray Dragonfire all over him. Oh yeah, me likey. To finish the fight, I switch to Catch Flame, which is busted. With that, I can claim my final reward from Gronk, a big rock and a hammer, for later use. Now back to the main story. It's time for the Giant of Fire to bear witness to my Cumbug spell.
Emotional, damn it!
Holy shit. This is insane, brothers. No, yeah, this is insane. I can't believe these numbers. Of course, this wouldn't be a Ratty Rye video if I didn't tactically throw my first try. Haha, yes, a classic. Getting one-shotted does let me do something to add some damage though. I go and murder a big bird for the red feathered branch sword. This gives a 20% damage buff if you have low health, which is perfect when I already can't take hits. For the sake of overkill, I also get the Howl of Shabriri for even more of a damage buff because why not? With that done, I return to Fire Giant, apply my buffs, and start coming. Wow, that's even more damage than I expected. To be fair, everything in my build is designed to boost my damage, and this incant is already busted, but still, I have not seen damage like this before. The power of God is truly on my side. Alright, now GG's. Beautiful. Holy shit. I mean, we take those. The faith is getting close now. With Biggie dead, my wife and I can commit arson on the false tree god. Yes, burn. This sends me to the land before time, where I find yet another spellbook. This one lets Master Oogway teach me Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike and Spear. With these new lightning spells, I decide it's an excellent time to retrieve the Lightning Scorpion Charm from Windham Catacombs. This works like the Fire Scorpion Charm, but, you know, for lightning. I also buy Burn O' Flame from the Fire Giant's Remembrance. I have plans for this spell. Foreskin Duo is my next boss, and I went big brain on this one. I got the Lightning Charm, Red Feathered Branch Sword, and Canvas Talisman for some hella big damage boosties. And also the Face Talisman, because why not? There's also a Lightning Tear in the Flask, so I should be doing a metric fuck ton of damage. First though, I have to sleep Skinny and Fatty. After that I use Golden Vow, and now... That didn't work at all how I'd hoped. Oh wow, that is not good. That's actually really low. So I have to run and sleep Fatty again before trying my Frozen Lightning. Which is better. Eat it, Skinny. I used my last sleep pot on Fatty and finally remembered to use my Physic Flask. This is really a mess. Jesus, I'm shocked I'm still alive. Like, I had a plan and just didn't execute it well at all. Great job, Radicus. Come on. There it is. That was definitely all around unfortunate, but it's about to get worse. I have to fight my friend since the beginning of this run, the good doggo. In order to honor our friendship, I decide to fight him with only spells he's gifted me over the course of this run. The big rock he gave me is definitely the best one. That damage is chunky. It appears that the good boy actually gave me stuff that's very effective against him because I quickly get to phase 2. With his acrobatic moveset and the fact that me and Grank had become good friends, this fight was giving me strong anime vibes. This is the battle of the underdog protagonist, moi, against his arch-rival turned friend, as their two paths diverge and they are forced to fight against each other for what they believe in. Really brings a tear to my eye. Rest in peace, Pupper. You were the Sasuke to my Naruto. After that gut-wrenching tragedy, I now get to take out my wrath on the epitome of arrogance, Gideon. And because I'm upset, we are going to way overdo this. I already have Frenzied Burst, and I'm going to skip the part where I pretend to throw to justify getting more damage and just get it now. First, I need the seal that buffs Frenzy spells, which requires Hayata's questline. So, we chase her around, talking to her and feeding her grapes that are actually eyeballs. She doesn't react too well when I notify her of it, though.
Not all of those people. Their own. So those noises I heard were... I apologize. I'll be fine.
Still, she eats another grape after finding out, and now I have to wander under the capital to find her again. To get where I need to go, I have to fight fake Mohg, but he can't resist my pocket sand.
Pocket sand!
And it's a pretty quick scuffle. With him done, I abuse some game mechanics to fall down a hole and proceed to be violently fingered. After that, I talk to Hayata and set her on fire, which allows me to finally acquire the Frenzied Flame Seal to buff my madness spells. That was a fucking weird quest. Time for Gideon. I do my usual buffing of draining my health, casting Golden Vow, then howling before approaching the lowly int user. Sniper battle! Bang. God, that felt good. Time to take on the GOAT Elden Lord Horaloo. He's fast, but weak to lightning, so I decide to return to the Toothpick spell for this fight. Oof. Damage is good, but we are one-shot. Seems to be a frequent problem in this run, so it's time. I'm asking once again for more power.
Unlimited power!
I head to the Celia Crystal Tunnel and get the slightly worse Canvas Talisman to buff my incants. Running through the tunnel, I happen to stumble across a dog, but it must be a puppy or something because it's really weak and it only takes a couple of zaps before we can move on. I thought that buff would be enough, but I actually end up getting worked by Godfrey. Like, really badly. It was an ugly showing on my part. It got so bad, I actually ended up switching to the scythe I picked up at the start of the run. It does holy damage, so it was dog shit, but it was nice to suck in a different way for a little bit. Before looking for another option, I decided to give God's Toothpick one more try. It felt a lot better after trying the scythe, and I quickly found myself in phase 2. I decided to be conservative and patient for the first time this run. I only attacked when I had wide open opportunities and fought against all my intrusive thoughts to not just spam the bolt. It was difficult, but in the end it paid off. Bang! That was a little risky at the end, but I take those. I'm now on the threshold of the end, but there's so much more to clean up, so I decide to start with Volcano Manor. To get to the final boss of this area, I have to first fight a Godskin Noble. But really, this is just a much easier version of the duo fight. Sleep him, blast him with my faith. After that cakewalk, I can fight Rykard, and I do try to do it with an incant. But yeah, no, that's gonna suck. Instead, I, as a rat person, resort to cheese. Namely, the Shield and Serpent Hunter cheese. For those of you who are unaware, blocking with a shield and light attacking with the Serpent Hunter gives you an uber fast hit that gives you much more reaction time and damage than you normally would get while using this weapon. Essentially, it just makes everything a lot easier. Which is good, because I have no strength levels, so Serpent Hunter isn't exactly hitting hard. But it hits fast enough that I don't have anything to worry about. Beautiful. Oh, I was worried this was going to become an incident, thank God. I'm thinking it's now time for me to make my way to the Haligtree, so I have to fight Big Nile. I take care of his simps with Bewitching Branches, then it's just me and the big dude. I finally find a use for the scythe here, as the easiest way to beat this guy is to parry and riposta until his health bar runs out. So I do that. Oh, this is going to be close. Yeah, finish him right here. Bang! Ooh! Scythe is kind of nice. I'm a fan. And claim the first half of my medallion. Then I channel my inner Snape and murder Dumbledore for the other half. Oh no. He's dead. I could have saved him. With both my halves united, I can now make my way to the Haligtree. Normally, I do this to fight Malenia, but today we're doing it to farm the medium envoys, because their horns are one of the most busted faith weapons. They have a pretty low drop rate though, so I was very surprised when I got it only after about 20 minutes of farming. Oh, it was so quick. Oh, I leveled it up and then made my way to the Anastasia between Limgrave and Caelid. I do a murder. And that gets me the Sacred Scorpion Charm for even more damage off my horn. Time to explain the build. I have the horn for its Ash of War, so I use the Red Feathered Branch Sword, Sacred Scorpion Charm, and the Jar Shard, as well as the Holy Damage tier to get maximum damage. And now I make my way to Placidusax to see if this was a worthy use of my time. Oh. I certainly don't have— holy shit! What the fuck? Oh, that's so much damage. Okay. Yeah, that sums it up. I remember I have a Golden Vow and give it another try.
Nice. Nice.
By God, this is redonkulous. 2 sprays is well over 2/3 of that health bar. After he flies away, it's a bit of a waiting game just looking for attack windows, but he has a lot of them, so surely I can't fuck this up. One more. One more. Bang, baby! No, no! Hey! Well, none of us are perfect. I got the job done at least. To get to a couple of the bosses I need to finish this run, I have to do Ranni's quest, which means beating Ghost Loretta. I decide to use the horn's physical attacks for this fight, and lordy are they good. The poor horse girl never stood a chance against my devastating longhorn. With that done, I talk to Ranni, then head to get the Fingerslayer blade to progress her quest. And I end up getting very distracted. My roommates showed up and decided I should do the deer, so I started lighting fires. Then they asked why I didn't have the Cerulean Hidden tier for infinite FP, so I somehow ended up in Mount Gelmir. fighting a tree spirit, and then I died. Bushy was upset by this, so he decided to show me how it's done.
Homie, it's not my fault you got Sergio Flame on. Making me cycle through this shit.
Yeah, okay, it's my fault. Sure, why not? Now though, Papa Bushy was on the warpath, and he decided he had to beat this boss.
Get off the tree, dude!
Yeah, that's a professional Elden Ring player for you. With that detour complete, I can now actually go fight the undead magic elk. I decided to use a spell I picked up forever ago, the Big Fireball. And like many other incants so far, the damage is stupid. I literally almost two-shot this bastard, but unfortunately, he heals himself, buying himself a little more time. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead.
That's some fucking good little propaganda.
Hey, come on. Yeah, that's right. Get testicled to death. Beautiful. Finally, I remember my original objective and get the Fingerslayer blade. Trade it with Ranni for a statue. Then, that statue gets me to the top of a tower for the Curse Mark of Death, which will eventually let me fight Fortisax. Before that, though, I decide I want to visit the Plague Lake. I cross this awful creation, ride a coffin off a waterfall, and now I face off with Astel. For this fight, I decide to test out the Black Blade incant from Maliketh's Remembrance, with a big rock as backup. Oh, yeah, that'll do just fine. Indeed, it will be just fine. The rocks are also doing pretty well here. We're throwing rocks. I have had many battles with the space anal beads, usually on the losing end. So seeing my first attempt go this well is a bit of a shock. Oh god, that's so good. I'm scared. I don't like being down here. Oh no. Alright, where'd she go? There she is. Oh, you want to run left at a 45-degree angle. Look at that. Crazy. Bang. You dodgy bitch. Still hit you though. There we go. Run. Flee. And one last rock. Oh no. Not like this. Where'd she go? I think I'm gonna have to run left at a 45-degree angle again. Yeah. Got her ass. First try. Oh my god. That was pretty busted. Black Blade is goated, dude. Holy shit. After seeing how good the Black Blade incant is, I decided to get the actual Black Blade, since it's a faith weapon. First though, I need to beat up a rock to go get a second copy of the Remembrance. Once I have it, I realize it takes hella strength to wield, so I get the Strength Talisman and Tier to make sure I'll be able to wield this weapon. I decide Mohg is my next victim, so I'll need the Purifying Tier, which means pulling a nice cheese on Ellie and Nora here. There we go. Beautiful. Then, to get to Mohg, I also have to cheese the Sanguine Noble. I love abusing NPCs, man. Time for the Moghwester to taste my blade. Oh, that's not that great. It's not bad though, and I have phase 1 Mohg learned to a T, so it's just a matter of dodging and poking with my dope big ass sword until I get a stagger. Oh there, give me that stagger. From that, Mohg starts his phase transition, and I hit him with the old L2. And then again when he finishes the transition. The Ash of War does so much damage that it's like Mohg's healing essentially just didn't happen, which is nice because phase 2 already takes forever with his stalling, and I'd hate to do it with him fully healed up. While it does take a while, my rat ancestry is in full swing. I am too nimble and sly for Mohg to be able to hit, and I use my superior agility to dance around him and deliver death by 1,000 pokes. Bang! Got his ass. Oh, was so nice to use a weapon for a fight. Wonderful. Now I make my way deep underground to fight Fortisax. But first, there's Fia's chumps. And something kind of funny happened here. I normally play offline, but for whatever reason, I was online for this and had to actually fight real players' builds instead of the preset enemies. And y'all suck, to be honest. The first guy had a dual curve sword bleed build, and the next two were a Bloodhound's Fang user and a Twin Blade bleed build. So, yeah, they all had bleed. You guys are disappointments. Please get creative. With the degens defeated, I square up with Rich Dragon 40 stacks, and I don't even try to make it fair. I pull out the Cumbug spell and get to work. Boring, painful work. I really do hate this fight, but this was actually a very enjoyable way to do it. Maybe it's because I'm a simple smooth brain and I like big numbers, or maybe it's because I like abusing Fortisax. But I actually find myself having a good time blasting the piss out of poor zombie dragon. I'll do it again. I don't give a fuck. That's right. Stupid lame zombie dragon. Eat my dick. Time for the truest test of a player's mettle in all of Elden Ring. Malenia. I did blast Loretta on my way here, but that was easy, so we'll skip that. And for this fight, I decided to finally use Burno Flame, better known as Flame Pillars, and it is doing scrumptious damage. But there are a few issues with it. Mainly that its hitbox is random, which means I don't always, hit the boss, and also it's slow as turtle dick. I died many times trying to cast this damn spell, so I decided to make it do even more damage. I run into the Giant Conquering Hero's Grave Catacomb for the Giant Seal, which will add even more damage. I've also got on all the incant boosting talismans, Fire Scorpion Charm, Ritual Sword, and the Flame Tier, so I mean, I'm blasting damage. But frankly, even with these dummy big numbers, I don't like this strat. It's a little too random in terms of actually hitting her, so I pivot. What did you pivot to, Ratty? I decided to try the big fireball out. And holy shit does it blast. Not only does it do great damage on explosion, but it leaves lingering fire, which almost doubles the initial damage if she stands in it. Add to that the much faster cast time and the exceptional range, and I think I might have a winning combination here. I decided to get frisky though in phase 2. I know I can get the fireball off, but I think I also have time to sneak in the fire pillars. Oh my god. Oh my god indeed. And she immediately does Scarlet Aeonia again for the perfect opportunity to double down on my strat. Damn. Even I can't throw a start that good. Bang! Oh, my heart rate. Alright, yeah, that's just a way better strategy. Time for the final boss. Radahn is very straightforward. I return to the first spell I had in this run, Catch Flame, and cook for a final time. He is incredibly susceptible to this spell, with him being weak to fire damage and the cast being so fast. With him fully roasted, I can fight the whale. I open up with Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike. Twice, and it shreds. I got the lightning boost stuff on, and we're on water though, so it was bound to be beefy. It is a bit of a slow spell though, so after the opening, I return to my favorite incant, the Pest Threads. These also do absurd damage. The biggest danger in this fight is Elden Stars, but I nailed the tech of running under it to get it stuck nice and slow in the ground. Now it's a 1v1 with no bullshit left for this alien to pull. Cumbug spell, baby! Woo! That's the last one, dude. And that's what it looks like when a rat beats Elden Ring while only leveling Faith. If you liked that video, be sure to check out my other ones on screen now. I guess that's it. Until next time, be good, be kind, adios.